So Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana proposed a 0.5 percentage point increase in value-added tax this year, followed by the same hike in 2026. This moves the value-added tax rate from 15% to 16% by next year. The Finance Minister also says SARS will receive added funding to improve revenue collection capabilities to try to plug the current shortfall. Business anchor Tumisang Ndlovu reports.
Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana says he's confident that Parliament will pass the 2025 budget. He says more revenue is needed to service high debt costs and plug an even bigger fiscal shortfall.
The budget is on the expenditure side is largely the same, as you can see, focusing on largely the social issues, health and education, but maintaining our fiscal sustainability. As you will see, as we promised, we are hitting the peak on debt to GDP in the next financial year, but at a higher number, a percentage than we have anticipated at 76.2.
National Treasury Director General Duncan Pieterse explains that the announced social grant adjustments were based on the shortfall created by the rejected proposal for a 2 percentage point VAT increase.
In this budget, because we are proposing a 0.5 percentage point increase in VAT, followed by another 0.5 percentage point increase, the argument for the additional cushioning from a VAT perspective then means that you would require slightly lower levels of cushioning because the VAT increase is smaller than it was before. So in the case of the old age pension grant, it has gone from 150 to 130. Obviously a 2 percentage point increase down to 0.5 plus 0.5. And in the case of the child support grant, it has gone from an additional 50 Rand to an additional 30 Rand.
At the same time, Godongwana has reiterated that these fiscal plans are against a backdrop of reduced tax revenue. He says it's for this reason that the South African Revenue Service will be allocated more funds to improve tax collection capabilities.
We are adding an additional 4 billion to the SARS budget over the MTF, which takes the total budget for SARS over the MTF to 7.5 billion.
SARS Commissioner Edward Kieswetter explains how the additional funding will be used.
We have had a ring fence project of R1 billion that the Minister allocated to us in the previous financial year, and we have used that to target just the reduction of debt, but also to facilitate a more efficient turnaround time of declarations against which an refund is due. If we don't do that, it means we will simply pay out the refunds without doing verification.
Members of Parliament will need to vote on the proposals made. Godongwana has urged the GNU members to rally behind the budget.
It's important to call a spade a spade. I personally met the DA on the 7th, despite the fact that they say they have not been consulted. On the 7th, I met them. And in that discussion, they highlighted a couple of issues. And one of the issues, the couple of issues is that they've lost a couple of battles, and therefore it's creating tensions in their own party. They've lost the Bella battle, they've lost the NHI, they've lost the Expropriation Act, and therefore they want to win something. So it is not surprising that in the new submission they've made to the President, that submission includes some things that are outside the budget, including the Expropriation Act. They will accept a 0.5% increase on condition other things are being addressed, some of whom are outside the budget process.
The budget will now face domestic and global scrutiny over the sustainability of South Africa's fiscal path under a multi-party coalition government. For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Tumisang Ndlovu.